This is Jimmy from Cruise Mornings, and I have a special guest on the phone right now. Massive Damage, also known as Sean Dunster from Monster Pro Wrestling. Welcome to the show, man.
Thanks so much, Jimmy. Thanks for having me.
So, for what a lot of you don't know is I work part-time with Monster Pro Wrestling. So, Massive Damage is not only my coach, he's also been my competitor at times, and he's a good friend of mine. And you're doing something really cool right now, and it's called the Death Tour documentary. Can you explain a little bit what the Death Tour is?
I can, yeah. The Death Tour is kind of a rite of passage, if you will, for a lot of Canadian wrestlers. A gentleman named Tony Condello for 50-some years has been promoting this tour, and it's a 2 to 5 week tour of the northern roads of Manitoba. So very much like Ice Road Truckers, if anybody's ever seen that. You're driving over frozen lakes and through, roads that aren't really there only in the winter, so these people can get supplies to their communities. So for 50 years, this guy's been taking a wrestling tour up there, and half of the battle is just to get to these remote destinations.
Okay, and can you tell me what this documentary is that you are doing?
So the Death Tour documentary is a documentary of one of these tours that was filmed in 2023. Stefan Peterson and Sonia Valentine produced it. They came on the road with us and they followed us around. And I don't really want to give it away because every tour kind of has, its own thing, but it focuses on 4 of the cast, Tony Condello, and basically a lot of the hardships that happen in these northern communities and the Aboriginal people that live there.
Okay, now over the years, you've been part of this Death Tour for a number of years. How many people have you worked with through this tour? Can you mention a couple of names?
Yeah, well, I'll mention names, that have been on this tour that have made it big. So anybody Canadian, Edge, Christian, Jericho, but Rhino has been on these tours. Kenny Omega has been on these tours. Anybody Canadian that's kind of went anywhere, been anywhere big. And, lots of guys, Scott Norton, famous NWO, WCW guy from the States was on one of these tours. So anybody that's anybody, the last probably 10 or 15 years, it's been a lot of Alberta guys, a lot of local guys, because of the relationship I've had with Tony over 26 years. He's been using a lot of Alberta talent, So another name from Edmonton is another kid that I trained, Bobby Sharp, who's pretty popular around here and around Alberta. Another kid that's I took him on his first tour, and he's been doing them ever since.
Now, you had a premiere of the documentary in Edmonton yesterday, which was the 6th, and you have another one tonight, August 7th at 9:30 at the Metro Cinema. What other cities are you doing this documentary? Is it being released in?
So it's already been in Montreal and Toronto. That was the beginning of the month, the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, I believe. Edmonton has 2 nights. Saskatoon has 3 or 4 nights, I believe. 16th, it starts there. Regina, it's there on the 30th. Calgary is there, I believe, on the 19th and 20th. Vancouver gets it on the 21st. So it's in all the major cities. Winnipeg, of course, is this weekend. I think it's the 9th to the 15th in Winnipeg, because that's kind of where it originated. And Chris Jericho himself will be there on the 15th. So.
All right. You know what, man? I do really need to thank you for joining me and, talking about this. It's so cool, working with you over the last couple of years, and for you and, several members of Monster Pro Wrestling who have been part of this tour and this documentary. And it's, I'm so proud to be part of the organization, and thank you so much for just, joining us and telling us a bit about what you're doing. And if you are around tonight in Edmonton, it's at the Metro Theater. Check it out. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be really cool.
Come down and say hi. Lots of the guys will be on, on hand for Monster Pro, checking it all out too.